Hello and welcome to Washington Exec's video series. I'm Amanda Ziadeh with Washington Exec, and here to talk about her role, priorities, and perspective on climate change is Susan Asam, Vice President of Climate Planning at ICF and ICF's Climate Center Senior Fellow. Thank you so much for joining me today, Susan.
Thanks for having
Of
me.
course. So can you start and tell us about a bit about your role as Vice President of Climate Planning? What do you oversee?
Yeah, well, just to back up, I joined ICF 22 years ago to be part of the larger team that's been working on climate change for 40 plus years at ICF. So I was very excited to do so. And my work there has really evolved as the field has evolved. So my early work focused on greenhouse gas accounting and really expanded over the years into climate impacts and adaptation as the field also expanded into doing more of that work. The team I now lead covers the entire waterfront of climate change work, including helping federal, state, local, commercial clients figure out how to reduce their emissions and to adapt to a changing climate.
Wonderful. So what are your top priorities at the moment and for the remainder of the year?
Yeah, well, I think with I just rattled off a number of different clients. With each of those clients, the priorities are a little bit different. With the federal clients, we're really helping them to advance the administration's ambitious climate change agenda. With the state and local clients, we really want to help them access, manage, utilize the federal infrastructure funding that has been passed to advance their efforts to mitigate greenhouse gas emissions and to be addressing climate impacts because they are seeing that as a great opportunity to really move forward on some of the goals and commitments that they've had in place, either for a very short time or for a very long time, depending on the particular client. And then helping energy sector clients to build resilience to climate change and to develop pathways to decarbonization. Many more of those are ready to move as well, and we're ready to partner with.
All right, and you just named a few, but what, in your opinion, are some of the top climate change challenges at the moment, and how do you help agencies address these challenges?
I think everybody working in the climate change field would agree that we really need to move with greater urgency to take bolder actions. We really don't have all the answers regarding what works best to both mitigate emissions and to build resilience equitably, but we have a lot of solutions that could work, and we really need to move forward more quickly to be testing those solutions and working through them. We at ICF help agencies to identify multiple pathways to achieve their desired outcomes. And we do a lot of assisting them in the trade-offs between these different alternatives. And just to give you an example, we've developed several proprietary tools, CoSite and ClimateSite, which have really enhanced our ability to swiftly help clients find multiple pathways to meet their existing or planned commitments. So we think, again, that we're in a good position to help increase the speed at which we're addressing climate change.
Wonderful. So tell us about the ICF Climate Center and your specific work with this part of the company.
Yeah, so I think related to some of the things I've said earlier, we're really hoping that we can share more broadly the work that we've been doing over the last 40 plus years in climate change because we think it's so important to be contributing to the broader community. So we established the ICF Climate Center last year with the recognition that we could really get some of that information out more broadly, that we're working constantly with individual clients, but we have the opportunity to really create this platform to share insights in a more timely way and a broader way that can really reach a broader audience. So as a senior fellow, I really help to think about, what are the timely what's the timely work that we're doing that we'd really like to be sharing out, and how should we share that? What is the audience? How would they best be able to receive that information and use that information?
And Susan, I also understand that you've worked with many agencies ranging from the EPA, CDC, USAID, and more. So what has been the most impactful project you've helped to lead?
Yeah, so I've mentioned that I've been several decades working in this field, and I've really had the privilege of helping to lead a lot of different projects that have been at the cutting edge of the field at the moment that we're at. So I mentioned earlier that the field has really evolved In terms of impact, it's really been exciting to be working in this field as we've seen this constant evolution from, just thinking about what should be done to really doing the strategic planning that gets leadership buy-in. And now moving into this more urgent implementation of strategies. And so as I think about what's impactful now that we're in this phase of really motivating decision makers to implement some of the strategies, I think some of our most rewarding and impactful work is actually at the local level, where we really get into the weeds with particular departments and agencies, and really work alongside them to develop solutions. And it moves from the more cerebral down to the very actionable day-to-day decision making and work that they're doing. And then we're designing these solutions that are very specific to very specific assets like parks or services like clean drinking water. And so it's really fun to be able to be at that point in the climate change evolution, and to really be able to work with partnerships with these local actors.
Wonderful. Well, to close, I'd like to ask, considering your position within ICF, your role with Washington Exec's Climate Change Council, your fellowship with the ICF Climate Center, and ultimately, like you mentioned, your many years of experience in this field, what do you hope to accomplish, or how do you hope to make a difference in climate adaptation planning?
So I hope that I can play a role in helping to accelerate the pace at which we are addressing climate change through both my individual contributions as well as leading this team at ICF of incredibly talented and passionate individuals who really have the ability to leverage the latest science, data, analytics, to really help organizations achieve their climate goals more speedily than we have been. And I also think that we have the opportunity, and I hope that we have more clients that are partnering with us to really drive forward more rapid advances in identifying, assessing, implementing more equitable climate strategies. I think there's a lot of work to be done there. I think our team has a lot of ideas. We're ready. We need the partners, in the client space that are also ready to work with us. And I think that'll happen.